Tall Club International has been raising social standards since 1938. And today, on Tall Girl Appreciation Day, we had to host the talented Miss Tall International herself, Shelley Sage. Welcome to River City Plus. We are so happy to have you today, Shelley.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
So first of all, I think we have to answer the question everyone is thinking. What is the Tall Club International? It's pretty self-explanatory, but as the reigning queen of this social organization, give us an overview.
Tall Clubs International is a social club for tall people. Women 6'10" and up, men 6'2" and up. Those are the standards for most of the clubs in the US and Canada. They are a little higher in some. And, you know, as the name implies, we do social things with one another, but we're also raising money for scholarships for college. We're also raising money to support Marfan syndrome research and support.
And can you expand a little bit on what some of those scholarship opportunities are? Because I think that some people don't realize that, like you said, in addition to these social aspects, we're also going to talk about the convention coming up, but that these are things that tall students can actually use, you know, for their collegiate aspirations.
Absolutely. And the students are amazing, just amazing. We have such an active committee here in Portland that looks forward to screening all of these applicants. There are two different levels. The first is the club level. So applicants can go to tall.org, get connected to the TCI Foundation, and apply online. The clubs review the applications and award their own monetary amounts to whoever they want to. And then those students go up to the next level to the TCI Foundation, where they are eligible for additional money.
That's awesome. I love that y'all are giving back and you're really looking, you know, to the future for a lot of these students. And I would love to understand, frankly, from a selfish perspective, this Miss Tall International. This is a completely separate facet of the social club. So you have conventions, you have scholarship, you have medical research, and also you have the beautiful pageantry of Miss Tall International. So can you tell us about your reign so far and what was it like getting to the crown?
Well, I'll tell you what. I love a parade.
Same.
And the Skylanders Tall Club, we have a long tradition here of being involved in parades locally. And it was my turn to be in the convertible. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So fun fact, on my bucket list, I have wave in a parade on there. So one day I hope to also be on the back of the convertible. That's just seeing that my entire life. I just think it's so great. How cool, just inspiring so many young men and women in the audience. So I love that. How was your ride on the back of the convertible?
Well, I've been in many of them now, and it's wonderful. It really, truly is. But personally, I like to be in the back, handing out business cards and making connections with individual families and tall people. It's really easy from the back to see that because all of their friends are pointing at them. And we can walk right up and say, come and join us for pizza afterward or something like this. But parades are definitely the thing that drives my interest in having the big fancy crown and sash and all of that. But our real job is to be a spokesmodel and let people know about tall clubs and what we do and that we're here. So many tall people don't know that we're here. And of course, we're all over the world, but TCI is just throughout the US and Canada. And you could go to tall.org and find the clubs in your area and check it out.
I know. I'm going to have to see who's close by in Jacksonville, which leads me to the fact that you all are actually having your convention in Dunedin, Florida, so you'll be close by.
That's right. I'm looking forward to being there in just less than 2 weeks now.
Right, so you'll get to have your entire audience.
A blast, and it's a pretty open thing, so there's probably opportunities for people to even stop in and go dancing or run into us as we're cruising all over town. I'm sure there'll be well over 100 people. And there are 2 tall clubs in Florida. So you
That's
can find
fantastic.
something.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love it. I'll have to look more into that because I just think it would be a really special opportunity, something about being of a certain height. I think everyone has physical attributes that they've grown up with, whether it was our hair color, our skin color, our weight, our height, or anything. And, it's always challenging, especially when we're younger, to really feel comfortable standing tall in who we are. What advice would you give for kids that are maybe trying to be proud of their height, trying to step into their own bodies, just as someone who literally travels all over, being a spokesperson? How do you feel that you can translate that message?
Well, I would carry the message of my own experience as a tall person from a family that's not tall. So I didn't have the opportunity to know a lot of other tall people and understand that we had so many common experiences. My family wasn't able to really connect with that. So I would encourage tall youth to find other tall youth to commiserate with and celebrate. That's what I would do. And that isn't always easy, but know when you're 21, you can come and join our clubs. And that's what I did. I literally joined tall clubs to get over my discomfort with being around other tall people. I was used to being the tallest.
I can certainly sympathize with that. I came from the other side of the coin. My entire family is tall. My dad is 7 foot. My mom is 5'10". All my aunts and uncles are 5'10" plus. And, so I was very used to being around tall people, but when I left my family, that's when I felt like I would really stick out. And, it is really challenging, when you do feel like you are the singular person of your size. I think especially as women, men have, everybody wants a tall guy, but sometimes I think it's a lot more challenging for women. So specifically, what advice do you have for young girls who are trying to feel comfortable in their height?
Young girls feeling comfortable in their height. Wear your heels.
Amen.
You can't change the fact that you're tall. And I would like to change the way that other people treat you around being tall, because I think that's the biggest problem with being tall is how other people react to it. But being tall is a fine thing to be. It's not so different from being very, very short, actually. So those people might be able to form some kind of bonds with you. Rock it, stand up, wear your heels, enjoy the fact that you have this advantages at times and disadvantages at others that are things can be overcome. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, I see so many young women dating men who aren't taller than them. This was such a standard, a norm in my day. Certainly a big part of my involvement in the tall clubs has involved dating, but there's so many people that really, 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 really admire and respect that you're tall and statuesque. And maybe the guys are a little bit scared. Just walk up and say hello. You'd be surprised. You really would.
Absolutely. I mean, and listen, I always say, if someone's intimidated by a pair of shoes, then they're not anybody I'm going to be wasting my time with. So kick rocks. You want somebody who can take you as you are, heels and all. So I love that you feel the same way. How do you wish that folks would approach you, and your tall friends? I know that, sometimes I'll hear people like taking photos of me when I'm at the aisle at Target and things like that. And I'm at least let me turn around and give you a smile. Like, how do you wish people would approach you?
Oh, well, I am not of the celebrity status that you are. People are not taking photos of me in the grocery store. I usually get some warning. I would suggest that people approach anyone that's different with a sense of curiosity. Instead of assuming that you know what it's like to be tall or short or another color, inquire about that. It's okay to say, I think being tall would be great, but don't hoist that on us. Being tall is not great all the time for everyone. And one of the things that can be painful, especially I think for the ultra tall, is to be asked constantly, how tall are you? Do you play basketball? Or worse, assumptive things like, how's the weather up there? I know that people will only say these things when they feel like this is a great thing. Being tall is wonderful. No one comes up to you and says, how much do you weigh? So be curious and respectful, and everything should be fine. As a tall girl, I have 2 pieces of advice. The first thing, wear those heels. When people look at your heels, they will often think that's why you're tall, and they won't even ask the question. But human beings have such a need to confirm the obvious. When people say, gosh, you're tall, all I ever say is, I am, isn't that great? And that ends the whole conversation right there.
Oh yeah, I like to respond, thank you so much for noticing. And then just...
Right.
And what's your second piece of advice, Shelley?
Oh, those were both of my pieces of advice.
Perfect. Yes. No, I love that. I love that. Wear your heels and just acknowledge those people. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, can we get what, I know you mentioned that you were comfortable doing this, so just so everyone know that I'm not putting Shelley on the spot. Can we see the full Miss Tall International? Selfishly, I wanted to request to see the crown here.
I did not bring a crown. I was hoping that you would have video to show that 6.5-inch tall crown.
6.5. Oh my goodness.
We'll be heading to the office later, so I'm just sashed up.
Yes, don't worry. Yes, we'll see the full sash. We do have video right here of Miss Shelley. This is her in her crowning glory. We love this photo of you doing zip line, greeting your fans. Oh my goodness, look at you go. Look at you go. This is
I'm in Turkey, and I'm standing in the door frame with beautiful Gladstone, Oregon behind me.
I know, what a beautiful backdrop you have. Well, thank you so much, Shelley, for sharing this morning with us. Again, this is something she volunteered to do. I would never hoist this on one of my fellow tall girls because I know I hate when people are like, stand up, let me see. It's very odd, but thank you so much for being willing to be this beacon for our tall community. I hope you have a wonderful Tall Girl Appreciation Day, as we all deserve. And Shelley, one more time, how can we keep up with you and the Tall Club International?
Tallclubs.org can get you connected to all of TCI. You can be a member at large, and if you're local to a club in the US or Canada, you can be a member of an actual club and do things on the weekends.
Fantastic. Well, Shelley, thank you so much for spending the morning with us right here on River City Plus.
Thank you. Have a wonderful Tall Girl Appreciation Day.
You too. You too.
Bye.